everyday superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, human dynamics, and everything in between. I'm going to speak to you today about the waiting game. I'm going to talk to you about patience. I'm going to talk to you about when to advance, when to retreat. I'm speaking to the man in relation to the woman, but the dynamic can be perceived from whichever party wishes to soak up this information and a little bit of food for thought. So, we're going to delve into psychology. We're going to dive into the borderline spiritual echelon of timing, a man's ability to pace attraction. So, in a way, we play somewhat of the woman's game in this field, as we as men want urgency, we want action, we don't want a build up, we just want to get to the money, right? So let's talk about this and let's run through the realities of such and apply it in a theoretical sense that you can apply to your own life and engagements. Seduction isn't a sprint. Your timing is everything. And when you move closer, and when you move back and hold back, and when you disappear at particular moments, you create an elusive yet higher entity of self that is perceived through the eyes of the divine feminine as attractive, engaging, enticing. Your impatience as a man will kill attraction, whereas your patience will amplify it. All of your competition, all of these men whom are dealing with things in the same manner will be approaching this from a position of need, of lust, of impatience, of lack of self reservation, preservation, and care. This needn't be the case, given you are of such perceived value that she's more than happy to jump into bed with you. No, no doubt. But we're speaking of those whom possess a higher want of attention. The lady who plays the coquette and men fall head over heels over. You want that sort of woman. In an evolutionary, biological viewing point, from a perspective of the evolution, the premature pursuit would waste energy and would risk rejection. Naturally, this applies across the animal kingdom, across the insects, to a potentially fatal degree in some. The males who timed pursuit well, historically speaking, ancestrally speaking, those whom displayed persistence, a admirable trait but not verging on desperation, were the ones to succeed. As one is patient, one signals abundance. If one can wait, one does not need it. Lack of need is a necessity when it comes to the man wanting to put his best foot forward and be perceived as valuable. The reality being, if the man does not need and the man has a natural patience, given he has other things to focus on, which is of more importance, the game is natural. It's not manufactured, it's not manipulated, it's not red pill, it's organic, it's the bluest of pills, it's their literal reality and lifestyle. The psychological principle of the push and the pull is a dynamic that is exciting, emotionally engaging, as the woman perceives the world through the lens of emotion first and foremost, logic second. She is the yin to our yang, she is the duality and polarity of what we are, and we must perceive it as such. We must leave our skin and get into the skin of hers, psychologically prior to physically. Suspense creates tension, and without tension, there's no seduction. Throughout life, whether it be business, entrepreneurial, anticipation for an event, excitement, instant gratification is weak, creates weakness, strives on the psychological detriment of the man, whereas the far side, the earning of benefit, the natural and organic pursuit of dopamine will allow you in the most primitive of sense to acquire which is the most primitive resource, material manifest, the women, the success, the status, as opposed to throwing it away to pornography, to video games, to overindulgence through any means. As you hold back, you showcase self-control, which interlinks with the idea of not pursuing or falling into the trap of instant gratifying behaviors. That self-restraint signals strength, and what is strength isn't weakness. Rushing signals weakness. The man on the street, regardless of how he is adorning the most magnificent of attire, given that he is rushing from A to B, he is perceived as a man with a lack of control and consciously repulsive to the women around him. He's not in control. He's behind schedule. He is not before schedule. And he has places to be, people to see, to the degree where he's having to rush, whereas people should be rushing to him, right? Look at the dynamic. As you prolong the process, the anticipation that is established intensifies the desire within the woman's mind. When one is not fulfilled, one desires for that fulfillment. The void needs to be fulfilled. Taking the act into the practical sense, one can flirt boldly and then retreat playfully, like a game of cat and mouse, cops and robbers, alike. Peekaboo, we take it to a regressive, childlike state. Our retreat allows her to process, acknowledge, and stimulate her mind with the energy that has been provoked in the process. Leaning in physically, leaning in emotionally, and then stepping back to allow her to lean forward, given that's what she wishes to do, and given that's how she engages, is a good sign. And the playful act and behavior and the push and pull you would need to engage with prior to the act of establishing further ground in the relationship. The slow and sure escalation, the layer by layer exposure of oneself slowly and surely. A psychological parallel to the material manifest that comes after, as above, so below. Speaking of the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, we'll delve into the energetic and the spiritual basis that operates on the higher vibration of this process. Your patience is rooted in masculine groundedness. The man is ground, he is firm, he is steady, he is stable. The woman says, he's my rock, right? You're unshaken. Whereas the feminine energy flows, so whereas you portray the rock, she portrays the water who flows around and atop and potentially beneath you. Apply this in the sense of you manifesting the container whereas she manifests the water that resides within your boundary and perimeters. She operates freely and fluidly within the masculine realm. The polarity of the yin and yang creates a seductive dance, whereas the retreat is as seductive as the advance. We feel like we should consistently attack, 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 and move on forward. But you need to understand that both the retreat and the advance are two sides to the same line, two polar opposites that operate within the same plane, both being as intense and as exciting as each other. When you rush escalation, she feels pressured. Pressure turns her off. Pressure creates excuses. Pressure bursts pipes. It's not smooth. If you retreat too far, she'll lose interest. She'll start speaking to someone else. You need to be mathematical. You need to feel it out. You can't just hope for the best in this game, given you want to actually get the woman you desire. Well, isn't that playing a game? Trust me, she's playing a game with you. So you can either opt in or opt out. It's up to you. So you need to approach the game of appearances rhythmically. Advancing, retreating, advancing again, orthodox and orthodox, however you mean to approach it. But understand that the retreat and the absence is just as important, as powerful and seductive as your presence. Men feel that what they don't see doesn't exist, but that woman is in your mind when she acts aloof and is absent, whereas when she's easy and present, you take her for granted, right? From your own perspective. The patience you exude will be magnetic because it communicates control, mastery, and an abundance. She wants somebody with an abundance, and abundance is not scarce. You have everything you need and more. And time is the most precious of commodity. She is a human being. She unconsciously understands and is aware and is as fearful as the same degree as anybody else about our inevitable fate, right? She knows about time and she sees you as somebody who has an abundance of. It places her in the appropriate position, one of looking up to you in a pedestalizing sense. It's not about speed, it's about suspense, okay? These are how great novels are constructed, how great stories are composed, how great developments happen over the course of a lifetime. That's some good game. Click like and subscribe for that. Peace.